disabled, Commander Lotso.
Buzz, what are you doing?
Silence, minions of Zurg! You're in the custody of the Galactic Alliance.
Zurg? Galactic Alliance?
Oh, boy. Good work, Lightyear. Now lock 'em up.
Yes, sir.
Hey, howdy, hey, people of the internet. Wolfman47 Dash here, and let's talk about Pixar. So, Pixar, for as long as I know, have been associated with Disney for many years, initially starting out as a sort of side company for Lucasfilm before spinning off into their own company. And then Disney decided they wanted to do a feature-length film that was fully CGI, and Pixar created Toy Story, which, as we know, was originally supposed to be a completely different concept, but Disney were against that concept because it was filled with a lot of hated toy characters in that, not like the toys that we have come to know and love, like Buzz, Woody, and the rest of them. Yeah, I've got a bit of a cold, so I'm going to do as much as I can in one take, and if I can't do it in one take, I'll do it in multiple takes. So, After Toy Story became a huge hit for Disney, Disney agreed to a deal with Pixar, but Pixar, not wanting to be a production company anymore, became an animation studio, and a deal between the two companies began, starting with A Bug's Life. Yeah, some of us remember that film, don't we? And then came the film that really strained the relationship between the two companies, Toy Story 2. Now, originally Toy Story 2 was supposed to be a direct-to-home media film that was going to be 60 minutes long exactly, but because Pixar saw the potential of it being a feature-length film, they wanted it to be part of their deal that they had with Disney. The Disney boss at the time, Michael Eisner, was against this idea, but Disney fell through with it anyway, and what was originally meant to be going to be a great film ended up having a pretty disastrous making of it, because the original, everything that was going to be for Toy Story 2 ended up being suddenly deleted. So they had about, I think it was 6 or 7 months trying to bring it all back, get it together, and yeah, everybody was hard at work getting it released. And as it turned out, it did actually do really, really well, so yay. Then after that, the John Lasseter, as we know, left directorial duties in the hands of other executives there at Pixar to create their own films. And the first of these films was Monsters Inc., which was a moderate success. And of course, you know the rest of the films from there. Up until Ratatouille, when Ratatouille came about, Ratatouille was like the Pixar film that was created with the intention of bringing money in for both Disney and Pixar, because at the time Pixar were thinking about leaving Disney altogether to find other companies. And during this time, an animation studio that ultimately never made any films, called Circle 7 Animation, was formed to create sequels to Pixar films that Disney owned the rights to. So the projects that were ultimately scrapped included a version of Toy Story 3, which featured Buzz being defective and being sent to the factory for repairs, a sequel to Monsters Inc., something Scareverse. Yeah, I get the feeling it was going to be a sort of multiverse adventure, but yeah, whatever. And Finding Nemo 2, which was not going to be anything like Finding Dory. So, yeah, that became a thing. But then things happened within Disney. Michael Eisner was ousted, Bob Iger was put in charge. Bob Iger saw the potential of having Pixar as an asset to Disney because of one time he went to a Disney Tokyo parade and noticed that out of all the major films that were released throughout all of Disney, only Pixar was the one that really had a massive impact there. So with him in charge, he brought in Ed Catmull, John Lasseter and Steve Jobs, all of which were still part of Pixar at the time, and agreed to an acquisition, which ultimately led to Pixar being part of Disney, John Lasseter and Ed Catmull being the heads of all of Disney Animation, Steve Jobs until he died being the biggest Disney shareholder as a result of the merger, and Circle 7 was gone, done and dusted. But it was good to know that the people in charge of Pixar had held nothing against the staff actually at Circle 7, and eventually absorbed them all within Pixar and Disney Animation altogether. So yay! This was, of course, an attempt by Disney to re-establish the animation department and try and bring it back to where it has been, which ultimately led into a few more flops, but then ultimately more successes, and then more recently a couple more flops. But hopefully you'll be back to where it was. So yeah, the Circle 7 animation films, I don't know, they look like they could have worked out well, but honestly, if they do decide to create them, I'm not sure if they would have worked out as well as they did. I mean, the Toy Story 3 script that we eventually did get, the actual Toy Story 3 we did get, was really good. Toy Story 4, which while not needed, was a good encore. And who knows what Toy Story 5 will bring us. Maybe it'll be following that script or do something else, but either way, I don't think it's in Pixar's best interest to like explore ideas that was never their ideas in the first place. Excuse me. Also, with the Monsters Inc. and Finding Nemo sequels, not really much was explained for those. And honestly, when you get a property that belongs to Pixar, you should really let Pixar make stuff based on those properties, not leave other companies to do it unless they are on a promise that they'll be able to replicate Pixar's style pretty well. Which Monsters at Work, the Disney Plus series that's a continuation of Monsters Inc. and Monsters University for that matter, seems to do a good job of, for the most part. Yeah. So I think in this case of Unreleased, I think it's good that Disney ultimately didn't go with the sequels to these films, because when you get a sequel to a film that's made by an animation company that's well known, well established and well loved, it only feels right morally to let that animation company create the sequel that they want, because if somebody else made it, it loses that sort of heart and appeal and everything about it. It's the reason why the last Ice Age film didn't do so well, because Blue Sky didn't make it at all. I mean, grateful that the staff did actually work on other Ice Age projects after that film came out, but yeah, it just didn't feel right for it to be made by another company. So yeah. But having said that, Puss in Boots: The Last Wish, which is of course made by DreamWorks, kind of betrays the animation style that was established in the earlier Shrek films and also its predecessor. But in that sense, it kind of works because all the characters and everything there is still recognisable, and everything is just following a different kind of animation style that's reminiscent of Spider-Verse films and other similar things. So I think overall the Circle 7 Pixar films definitely right for them not to be made at all. And I'm grateful that the company did eventually disband and the staff merged within Pixar and Disney Animation, because I think it's just one of those great things that when you got two companies being against each other for so long, it's kind of a good thing that they just don't hold anything against the staff, because obviously it's not their fault that they ended up in the position that they are. Obviously it's a shame that they never got a chance to actually release anything during the time that they were out, but I think they're probably grateful and faithfully and so forth that they never got to create sequels to films that were not really theirs to create sequels to in the first place. Just leave it to Pixar, because it's their babies after all. So yeah. What else should I say about those films? I think the franchises that they did want to create sequels for, so Monsters Inc., Toy Story and Finding Nemo, are all popular franchises and still popular today. As we know, Monsters Inc. did get a prequel in the form of Monsters University, which, while a little bit inconsistent to the first film, was okay. And it got as I said earlier, it got a TV series for Disney Plus called Monsters at Work, which is good. Not quite created by Pixar, but still within the sort of Disney animation department, so I'm guessing they would have consulted one another, even though there is a rule where animation studios within Disney don't consult one another. Anyway, Finding Nemo got a sequel in the form of Finding Dory, which was really good and kind of explored the idea of trying to remember things before you forget forever, which is a great theme to explore. And obviously, as I said, Toy Story continued on with Toy Story 3, Toy Story 4, the spin-off Lightyear, which was and we'll soon be getting Toy Story 5, which God knows how that's going to play out. And of course, there's also the different TV specials and short films. And as for Pixar themselves, they still create great stuff, and they're probably the only company at the moment within Disney that's actually doing better than the rest of Disney overall. Because last year, during Disney's 100th anniversary, Pixar released Elemental, which initially at first was not doing well at the box office, but actually turned out to be an okayish film. Not one of their strongest films in my opinion, but still an okay film. And this year they released Inside Out 2, which proved to be a major success. And they're also strongly against Disney's idea of remaking all their animated films. So yeah, of course there is an unofficial live-action Toy Story film that you can watch on YouTube somewhere, unless it's been taken off, which was interesting. But the idea of seeing any Pixar film being turned into live-action, I mean, I don't see it happening for any of the films, not even the films that have human characters as the main focus, because once you get something as iconic as, say, The Incredibles or Up, you can't really beat the animation there. It's too iconic, it's too lovable, people love it. So yeah, and you know, if they made a live action remake out of Soul, I mean, it can work, but it would kind of feel like the parts with the humans are the live action parts, but the parts where they're not, where it's all the animated bits, is still that. It's kind of like a sort of live action and animation hybrid, which I know apart from WALL-E, Pixar are not really that keen on doing. But yeah, Circle 7 should not have been made. They're better off without them, and yeah, the rest is history. So yeah. And before my throat dries out again, because it is sore and I am got a cold at the time of doing this vlog in July when it's still hot, I'm going to end the vlog. So thank you so much for watching. Please hit the subscribe button if you'd like to see more of my videos. I do gameplay videos and topical vlogs like these, as well as hauls as well. I upload these videos at 1 PM BST/GMT, depending on the time of the year, and random shorts as well. And if you enjoyed this video, hit the like button, share with your pals, and leave a comment wherever the thing is, if you want to. See you in the next one. Peace to you all. And yeah, if you really don't like how a company's doing things, just you know, suck it up and move on, because Toy Story 2 proves that Pixar can still make a great sequel, and Disney obviously didn't think it would be successful, but turns out they were wrong. So never underestimate your people. So yeah, bye. Toodles.
I'm watching you, Wazowski. Always watching.